Rome likes to pretend it rose in an unstoppable straight line. But Rome's early story has a scar, a wound so deep the Republic never forgot it. A day when everything Roman discipline stood for collapsed, when a foreign, barbarian army marched straight into the heart of the city, and Rome could do nothing to stop them. This is the story of the sack of Rome in 390 BC, the day the Gauls broke Rome's confidence, shattered its army, and forced the Republic to rebuild its military from the ground up. But to understand why this one battle changed Roman history forever, we need to start with who the Gauls really were. The Romans called them barbari, but these men from the Senones tribe were no disorganized raiders. They were tall, heavily muscled warriors, wielding long, slashing swords, oval shields, iron helmets, and a battle psychology built on intimidation. Their war cries could break weaker armies before the first strike. Their charge, a terrifying tidal wave of shields, weapons, and raw aggression, was one of the most feared in the ancient world. And in 390 BC, those warriors were marching south toward Rome. The Gauls didn't come for conquest. They came because Rome got in their way. The conflict erupted when Rome intervened in a quarrel between the Gauls and the city of Clusium. Roman ambassadors broke diplomatic law by taking up arms in battle. The Gauls demanded justice. Rome refused. In response, the Gauls prepared for war. This was Rome's first real encounter with a massed Celtic army, and Rome underestimated everything. The Roman Senate assumed the Gauls were just another restless tribe. They raised an army quickly, too quickly, drafting inexperienced citizens, placing overconfident commanders in charge, and marching without proper reconnaissance. Their plan was simple: block the Gauls on the banks of the River Allia, a shallow tributary north of the city. What Rome expected was a straightforward defensive battle. What they got was a tactical disaster. The Roman position at the Allia was disastrously chosen. They allowed the Gauls to approach on open terrain, without fortifications, without anchored flanks, and with their reserve forces scattered. The Roman formation stretched thin, too thin, creating a weak point on their exposed left wing. The Gallic leader, Brennus, spotted it instantly. When the battle began, the Roman center held briefly, shield-locked, spears ready. But the Gallic warriors did not strike the center first. Instead, Brennus unleashed his most powerful fighters, the elite group of towering, wild-haired Celtic champions, directly at the Roman left. The shock was immediate. The Roman left wing collapsed under the violent, screaming assault. Panic spread, lines broke, discipline failed. Within minutes, the Roman army was no longer fighting, it was running. What followed wasn't a battle. It was a rout so complete that later Romans refused to record the details. Men drowned in the river trying to escape. Bodies piled on the banks, standards were abandoned, entire units vanished. Rome, for the first time in its history, had been defeated so badly that the army ceased to exist as a fighting force. The survivors fled back toward the city, some abandoning their armor, others never stopping until they reached Veii, a full day's march away. Rome was now undefended. The Gauls did not hesitate. They marched straight to the city walls and found the gates open. The shock of Allia was so overwhelming that Rome didn't even lock the city. Civilians scrambled to the Capitoline Hill, the only defensible stronghold. Senators stayed behind in their homes, sitting in full ceremonial dress, waiting to die with dignity. The rest of Rome, homes, markets, temples, was left quiet, empty, abandoned. The Gauls walked into Rome like stepping into a tomb. Then the burning began. The attack was systematic. Houses were stripped, looted, set aflame. Storage buildings collapsed under heat. Columns cracked. The sound of Celtic war horns echoed through empty streets, mixed with the roar of fire swallowing half the city. For days, smoke covered the sky. Rome, the proud new republic, looked like a dying village. Yet on the Capitoline Hill, the last Romans held out. Hundreds of citizens, soldiers, priests, and magistrates barricaded themselves behind fortified walls. The Gauls attempted multiple direct assaults, forming shield walls, charging uphill, hurling javelins, but every attempt failed. The defenders rolled stones, threw spears, and used the narrow approach to their advantage. The hill held. Frustrated, the Gauls settled into a siege. Weeks passed. Disease spread in their camp. Food shortages forced the Gauls to raid deeper into Latium, but they kept returning, tightening their grip on Rome. One of the most legendary incidents of the siege occurred at night when a group of Gauls attempted to climb the steepest part of the Capitoline cliff. They were silent, careful, nearly invisible in the dark. The guard dogs slept. The Roman sentries missed the movement, but the sacred geese of Juno did not. Their wild, unexpected cries awakened the garrison. Soldiers rushed to the wall, pushing the Gauls back with spears and shields. The defenders won by inches. Rome came within seconds of total collapse. But the siege dragged on, and Rome was starving. At this point, the conflict was not heroic, not glorious. It was a slow crushing of endurance. The Gauls, needing supplies and tired of disease, finally offered terms. Rome could live for a massive ransom. The Romans, broken, surrounded, and starving, agreed. When the Roman negotiators complained the Gallic weights were rigged, Brennus, according to legend, threw his sword onto the scale and uttered the words that scarred Roman pride forever. Vae Victis. Woe to the conquered. Rome paid in gold. The Gauls marched away, and Rome was left in ruins. But this is not the end of the story. This is the moment Rome changed. The sack of 390 BC became a national trauma, a warning carved into the Roman psyche. The Republic realized its consular armies were undisciplined, its formations outdated, its recruitment chaotic, its response slow. If Rome wanted to survive, it had to rebuild, not just its walls, but its entire military system. So Rome reorganized. They strengthened discipline, standardized equipment, improved training, and redesigned their manipular system. Flexible, modular units that could absorb shocks and outmaneuver larger enemies. They built faster roads, better fortifications, and a standing force ready to deploy instantly. That humiliation at Allia became the spark that forged the Roman war machine. This single defeat, this one day of collapse, reshaped Roman military doctrine and made Rome an empire that would later conquer those same Gauls who once burned their city. The sack of Rome was not just a tragedy, it was a transformation. Because sometimes a civilization rises not when it wins, but when it survives, losing everything.